Taking our company call this morning is listed agribusiness, AgriNurture CEO Tony Chu. He's into agri, he's into infra, and he's into tech. He's also had business dealings with the Chinese, so he can give us a lot of context in what's happening here. Tony, Happy New Year. Good to see you.
Happy New Year, Mimi.
All right, so Tony, among the deals that the President Marcos is expected to sign is a joint action plan on agriculture and fisheries cooperation. From your perspective, you're into agriculture. Are there low-hanging fruits that you think we can pick in this space of food security that you hope we take advantage of?
Well, it's both ways. So from Philippines as an exporter standpoint, China is our biggest trading partner. It's 36 to 48 hours by sea. So it allows us to export perishable product to southern China within a 2-day period. So it makes logistic convenient and easy. The durian diplomacy is exciting because it means China is opening up to more opportunity for Philippines to supply to China. But actually, we have a lot of other champions that we can bring to China. For example, coffee, cacao, calamansi, maybe guyabano. There's a lot of Filipino new champions that we can trade with China other than just banana and pineapple.
Because right now you do. Well, right now you export a lot of your produce and processed food like banana, mango, coconuts, pineapples, and even your plant-based meat. Do you export them to Hong Kong and China, right?
No, plant-based meat.
Only here.
Chinese are better in doing it. So our plant-based meat is for the Western world.
For the Western world.
So on the other side, China can also be a backup support for our food security because Philippines is a net importer of practically everything. So China keeps an inventory of rice, for example, several years of inventory, whereas NFA is mandated to only keep 15 days. So in case of emergency, China is the best place where we can tap into, provide us with the staple.
For AgriNurture, because this is where your experience comes in, how big is China as a market for you? And with China reopening now, how do you expect that to supercharge Annie's earnings for this year?
Well, we have been severely affected when China imposed strict lockdown in the last 2 quarters. But with China opening up, we expect sales in China to aggressively grow, maybe even triple digits. Because after the opening up, we will go back to the old glory of selling a lot of our Philippine products to major China ports.
We had a reporter earlier say that the people she talked to at least are saying the problem is not demand, the problem is supply. The Philippines can't supply enough. Is that true in our case, in your case?
Yes, it is very true because we have not been funding the agricultural sector. If you compare the percentage of agri-lending during President Marcos Sr.'s time and President Marcos Jr.'s time right now, during the father's time, the agri-lending is about 6% of GDP. But right now, the agri-lending is less than 1%. So no input equals to no output. So with the president taking a major role as the Secretary of Agriculture, the budget for Department of Agriculture has increased significantly by 40+%. So we will be expecting a lot of spending in the agricultural sector. If the trend continues, we will be looking forward to a more prosperous agricultural sector in the coming years.
Exciting times ahead. Tony, I just have to ask you. I asked you this before, but maybe I can ask you and you give me a different answer today. I have 2 sources, good sources, who were very sure at one point last year. There were rumors that you were actually in the lineup, being tapped as the Agri Secretary. Any truth to the rumors?
Maybe this is a market edge, right? I guess rumors should be reserved for some other segment.
Okay, all right, we'll leave it at that. So from AgriNurture, I want to talk about your other listed company, which is Greenergy. which made a lot of news in the past couple of years. We remember the news about your expansion into medical hemp, the UPay deal with ABS-CBN. You were investing in a biochemistry tech research, including with plans to develop a logistics center and food terminal with Abacor in Batangas. What's the latest on those, and where is GreenEnergy heading this year?
Well, GreenEnergy, we have to reorganize. I've stepped down as president last year.
Yes.
I've stepped down as chairman recently. I've asked my classmate, attorney Martin Subido, to take the charge to focus on these new industries while I will focus on agriculture. So GreenEnergy would be in a better shape moving forward. I think the fintech projects will make a lot of difference. The medicinal hemp, there are exciting developments that I wish I could disclose right now, but we'll update the public in due time. As to the biotech side, we have been looking at investing in algae production, particularly the algae for energy as a biofuel and algae for feeds. As to other pending projects with Abacor, the deal is more or less still a go. We're just waiting for a financial partner to comply with their commitment, so we can proceed with setting up the food terminals, because we believe that the opportunity in the Philippine agricultural sector is the lack of capacity. Because if you notice, why we are a net importer of practically everything, whereas we are an agricultural country, we are surrounded by sea. The problem is really we do not have the capacity to store during the harvest season, whether it's a fishery, whether it's onion, whether it's rice, whether it's sugar. It's more about the capacity. So food terminals, cold chain, all these logistic hubs that we envision, these are actually the simplest solution to address this gap between supply and demand.
Okay.
Because agriculture is very seasonal. And we see this as the golden opportunity, particularly if we have a very good relationship with China moving forward. We can tap into Chinese technology, Chinese funding, and this will be a low-hanging fruit that we can bring back and solve this decade-old problem.
All right. Before we go, I wanted to ask, the one thing that I also know is keeping you busy is infrastructure. You're working on the Makati Subway, the $3.5 billion Makati Subway project under InfraDev. Are you still on track for a 2025 commercial operations?
Well, I do not want to preempt Mayor Abby from announcing the good news, but the Makati Subway is still one of the few remaining Philippine-China project that is progressing. Although the pandemic has slowed it down by several years, we're still hopeful that if we speed up and catch up, we can, as you know, there's a lot of earth-moving activity happening in
Yes.
in 2 out of the 8 stations already, but still, it's not up to speed. We are asking China partner to ramp up the speed, and I will also be announcing my replacement soon. Because as I've said, I would be focusing on agriculture while I'll be leaving this non-agricultural project to people with more experience. So we're aggressively scouting and deciding on a CEO who knows how to operate the subway.
So 2025, is it still happening for the subway?
Very likely there is going to be a partial opening. I'm not so confident that the entire phase 1 will be completed by 2025, but we're still very hopeful that there can be a partial opening at least. It's a legacy that the mayor can announce to her constituents.
All right. And final question, Tony, you do a lot of business with the Chinese. What advice would you have for President Bongbong Marcos when he deals with the Chinese? Maybe just one advice.
We always thought, well, it's strengthening the understanding. There's a lot of difference in terms of the government bureaucracy. There's a lot of difference in terms of the culture. We always thought that China is the closest neighbor, but in reality, there's always this big difference, big gap in terms of the law, the culture, then the practices.
Okay.
So we have to learn and learn from each other and move forward with learn from the mistakes and move forward aggressively to make things happen.
All right, make things happen indeed. Tony, pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Mimi.
All right.